Hey, we welcome you. It's a wonderful Sabbath today. We welcome you to Hebrew Readers Church. I'm your brother Zach. This is your brother Kasafo.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. Hope all is well with you on this Shabbat today.
We have a great lesson for you all, keeping the Sabbath holy. If anybody has viewed our old lesson on the Sabbath day, we have taken that lesson down, and this is going to be the new lesson coming up because Alahayim revealed some new information to us that we want to share to the body so that everybody can keep the Sabbath day holy as we have been commanded to keep it holy. We thank everybody that's been keeping up with the lessons. We hope that you've all been enjoying the previous lesson that we've been re-airing. For anybody that's new to the channel, we welcome you. If you have any questions, please send us an email at HebrewReaders@gmail.com or write us in the chat below or write in the comment section. We always welcome your comments and your questions. All right, without further ado, let's get started.
All right, the Sabbath. Now, we had read in Jubilees chapter 2, verse 29, that Ahayah commanded for the laws of the Sabbath to be taught. And we know his Sabbath is a sign between us and is for us all, as we read earlier in Isaiah 56, verse 6 and 7, and Exodus 31, 16 to 18. Knowing this now, let's look at what was written down for us to keep so we can know how to keep the Shabbat that day. Can you start at Jubilees chapter 50, verse 6 to 8, please?
And behold, the commandment regarding the Sabbath, I have written them down for thee, and all the judgments of his laws. 6 days shalt thou labor, but on the seventh day is the Sabbath of Ahayah Alahayim. In it ye shall do no manner of work, ye and your sons, and your men servants, and your maid servants, and all your cattle, and the sojourner also who is with you.
So it's for everyone, Jew and Gentile alike, bond or free. It's for everyone. Continue, please.
And the man that does any work on it shall die. Whosoever desecrates that day, whoever lies with his wife.
In regards to desecrating that day, one can desecrate the day through evil works of one's heart, because we're supposed to keep it with pure hands and a pure heart firstly. So inwardly, we have to focus not to desecrate the day as well. And then no intercourse on the Sabbaths or feasts. Continue, please.
Right. Or whoever says he would do something on it, that he will set out on a journey thereon in regard to any buying or selling.
So no business trips or making plans to take business trips on the Sabbath. All right. Continue, please.
And whosoever draws water thereon, which he had not prepared for himself on the 6th day, and whoever takes up any burden to carry it out of his tent or out of his house shall die.
So no drawing water on the Sabbath or taking burdens on the Sabbath. We have our water cisterns, our sinks today. The water's already there. So us to get something to drink out of or to use for a bath and things like that. All right.
But if you're in a place where you have to draw water, you draw your water on the 6th day before the Sabbath. You can't draw it on the Sabbath day. There's some places in the world that still use wells. So.
Amen. 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 Thank you.
Do you want to touch on the burdens?
I think the Browns-Briggs definition tells that it's a load. The word burden in the Browns-Briggs definition, it's first means load, bearing, tribute, burden, lifting. Lifting, uplifting is something you have to lift up, bearing, carrying. And a verse to help understand that this is like an actual load of stuff. Nehemiah 13 and 15 says, in those days saw I in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath. So they weren't lifting anything. They were sitting there treading the wine press. So that lets us know we can't do any work. Like there's no going to do things that pertain to your business. All right. On the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves. So sheaves, that's a load of sheaves, and lading asses. So they were packing their loads on their donkeys. Also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. So they were carrying their loads, bringing them in for work. That scripture helps us understand what burdens are.
All right. I wanted to touch on tribute if I could. I think that's where the definition really got interesting. Tribute, the second definition of tribute is a historical definition. It's a payment made periodically by one state or ruler to another, especially as a sign of dependence, or an act or a statement or a gift that is intended to show gratitude, respect, or admiration. So you couldn't go and pay your bills, or you couldn't pay your taxes, or you couldn't pay such and such on the Sabbath.
A business transaction.
Right.
The definition shows it. Thanks. That helps put it in perspective there.
Right. Or carrying a load to go sell it, or for any type of business transaction. That's pretty much, that'd probably be the right understanding of it.
Right.
The definition is tribute, and it also means load. So if you were doing something that pertained to buying or selling or doing any work with a load. So like a tribute, you have to go and you're giving that to somebody based off of something that you owe someone. So you would take that and you would give them a tribute. Like people had to give tribute unto Caesar. Just like when Yache said, give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Like, that's his tribute.
All right, that helps understand. Burden is not merely lifting something heavy, but also going to go pay bills, doing business transactions.
Or if it's something that you owe somebody. Say if you owe somebody 3 packets of sugar, you can't go and take the 3 packets of them of sugar on the Sabbath that you owe them. Like,
right.
On a simpler term, on a smaller frame,
Right. By definition, that falls right in. Thanks for that, so we can have clarity with that. All right, and the law also helps confirm the simplicity of it in that on the Sabbath, a person can go into the field like the disciples grab food to eat, but they can't get to putting it in their purse because they're making it into a load as opposed to they're just grabbing and eating the food. All right, let's continue in the law. We're in Jubilees 50 and 9.
You shall do no work whatsoever on the Sabbath day, save what ye have prepared for yourself on the 6th day, so as to eat and drink.
We cannot prepare anything to eat on the Sabbath. Preparations must be done beforehand, meaning it's already been cooked or made the day prior of the Sabbath. Let's continue in Jubilees chapter 2, verse 29, please.
Declare and say to the children of Israel, the law of this day both, that they should keep Sabbath thereon, and that they should not prepare thereon anything to eat or drunk.
On Sabbath, we should not prepare anything to be eaten or drunk. So we cannot do any cooking on the Sabbath. So all must be done the day prior. Can you read Exodus chapter 16, verse 23, please?
And he said unto them, this is that which Ahayah hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto Ahayah. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe. And that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning.
So bake what you're going to bake, and seethe, which means boil what you're going to boil. And whatever remains, lay it up for you until morning to be eaten. That's why we would prepare a hot meal before the Sabbath comes in, so we can have a hot meal that night and have the rest laid up for in the morning to eat it at room temperature, or if it's something that we like cold, we put it in the fridge and eat it in the morning. Can you read the definition for the word bake? H644, please.
A primitive root to cook, especially to bake. Baker or bake meats.
So that lets us know that word where he said bake that which you will bake in the English is also cook that which you will cook. And by English definition, cook means the practice or skill of preparing food by combining, mixing, and heating ingredients. In regards to
the second definition?
Absolutely. I would like to read that. Of food, this is in regards to the definition of cook. The second definition of cook of food is be heated so that the condition required for eating is reached. This definition lets us know that warming our food up is also cooking and a trespass on the Sabbath day. All right. So we have to eat our food at the temperature that it's at. Putting it on the stove just to get it warm is a trespass. Or putting it in a microwave or an air fryer or oven, it's a transgression. Let's continue. Definition of seethe, please. Can you read that?
H1310, a primitive root properly to boil up, hence to be done in cooking, figuratively to ripen, bake, boil, bring forth, is ripe, roast, sieve, sod, be sodden.
All right, so that covers cooking as we understand it, as we're commanded. And let's see what they did. They baked what they needed to bake and boiled up, or seethed what they needed to seethe. And then what did they do then after that? Can you read Exodus 16 and 24 and 25, please?
And they laid it up to the morning, as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein.
So we set your food in Tupperware to put in the fridge after cooking it, or to cover it when you're finished eating to keep it for in the morning.
And Moses said, Eat that today, for today is the Sabbath unto Ahayah. Today ye shall not find it in the field.
We eat the food that has already been prepared the day before on the Sabbath. We have yogurt, sandwiches, cold meals, fruits are some examples from Sabbath food. And can you read Matthew chapter 12, verse 1, please, and 2?
At that time Yache went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were an hungered, and began to pluck the ears of the corn and to eat. But when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto him, Behold, thy disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon the Sabbath day.
And sadly, the Pharisees didn't understand the law because they didn't break the law, because it is lawful to go eat the food of the neighbor's yard that they left on the Sabbath. They are not doing work unless they put it into their vessels to take with them. Can you read Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 24 to 25, please?
When thou comest into thy neighbor's vineyard, then thou mayest eat grapes, thy field, at thy own pleasure, but thou shalt not put any in thy vessel. When thou comest into the standing corn of thy neighbor, then thou mayest pluck the ears with thy hand, but thou shalt not move a sickle unto thy neighbor's standing corn.
All right, continue in Matthew chapter 12, verse 7, please.
But if ye had known what this meaneth, I will have mercy, and not sacrifice, you would have not condemned the guiltless.
So let me see. Yache understood the law, of course, and it's Ahayah's mercy to command us to leave food for people, for the poor and for the stranger. And also, in his mercy, he leaves it out there for people to have something to eat.
Right.
Because he prepares food for the world by what's on the trees every day. And they were guiltless because they didn't break any law, as we discussed. They didn't put the sickle to it nor put it in their vessels.
Right.
All right. Ahayah is gracious unto the stranger and poor to leave food for everyone to eat on the Sabbath. So if you have a garden outside, or your neighbor has one that he permits you to eat of, it's no sin to go get some food off from there on the Sabbath. It was prepared by Alahayim for us to eat. All right. And touching on fruits and vegetables, we see the disciples took the ears of corns and began to eat. We know with corn, you have to pull off the outside layer to get to the corn. That helps us understand when we have fruits, peeling an orange, I'm doing the work that pertains to the food
that was prepared on the sixth day, as Jubilees 50 and 9 said.
Right.
I can do that. If I want to take a knife and cut it open so I can get to it easier, that's not a transgression.
Because the fruit that I had gotten it the sixth day, or if I got it off of the tree, Alahayim had it prepared for me already. And the work that I do, like the disciples having to pull the ears with their hands, or me taking a knife to peel my orange, or cut my apple in half as I like to eat it, this is work that is lawful to do because it pertains to the food that was already prepared on the sixth day. Similar to if I have my drinks that's already prepared, they were already made. I didn't squeeze lemons to make lemonade on the Sabbath day because that would be against the law. But on the Sabbath, with my lemonade that was prepared the sixth day, if I like to put some ice in there, it's a condiment. I can put ice in there. That's not preparing something on the Sabbath day. Also with my food, if I prepared a salad on the sixth day, cut everything up, made the salad, then on the Sabbath day, I can put my salad dressing on a salad.
Right.
That's just a condiment that goes on the salad that I prepared on the sixth day. And also, in regards to drinks, if I like to drink tea, I would prepare my tea on the sixth day. I would boil my lemongrass, put my sugar in it, and add milk to it if I'd like, and then I'll put it in a thermos on the 6th day, so that on the Sabbath day, the only work I have to do pertaining to what I prepared on the 6th day is to pour it into a cup and drink it and enjoy the Sabbath. Also, I know I wouldn't offend Alahayim because I didn't make tea on that day. It was prepared the day before, and I did no seething by boiling the lemongrass and then adding sugar to make the tea, to mix the ingredients to get it where I wanted it. I did all that on the 6th day, according to Ahayah's will, for understanding of not preparing anything to eat or drink on the Sabbath.
All right. Let's continue with Jubilee chapter 50, verse 9, please.
But you shall do no work whatever on the Sabbath day, save what ye have prepared for yourselves on the 6th day, so as to eat and drink and rest, and keep Sabbath from all work on that day.
Now the law said that we may do the work that pertains to what we prepared for ourselves on the 6th day, so as to eat, drink, and rest on Sabbath. So we have to have the items collected as they did in Scripture on the 6th day for eating. We have to prepare anything that needs to be cooked and cook it as well on the 6th day. And we also have to prepare things that we don't cook, like making sandwiches or making salads. Then, on the Sabbath day, we can do the things that pertain to the things we prepared. So, putting condiments on our food or dressing on our salad are things we can do on the Sabbath, or taking chips and dipping it in dip are things we can do on the Sabbath. We just have to ensure all the food is cooked and prepared on the 6th day.
Why do we not prepare food or drinks on the Sabbath day? Can we read Jubilees chapter 50, verse 10, please?
For great is the honor which Ahayah has given to Israel, that they should eat and drink and be satisfied on this festival day.
It's a festival. It's a day where we keep holy. And knowing it's a festival, we also have music and games and things like that are lawful on the Sabbath. It's a day of joy.
Right.
All right? Continue, please.
And rest thereon from all labor which belongs to the labor of the children of men, save burning frankincense and burning oblations and sacrifices before Ahayah for days and for Sabbaths. This work alone shall be done on the Sabbath days in the sanctuary of Ahayah Alahayim, and that they may atone for Israel with sacrifice continually from day to day for a memorial well pleasing before Ahayah, and that ye may receive them always from day to day according as thou hast been commanded.
All right, so we avoid all labors which belong to the labors of the children of men, except the burnings, frankincense, and bringing oblations and sacrifices before Ahayah for days and for Sabbaths. And that is to be done by the priests. For us personally, we don't go outside and do our own labors either, like water in the garden. We don't do that on the Sabbath day. We enjoy the Sabbath day resting from labors. So there we see, when in regards to the work that can be done on the Sabbath, the burning of frankincense and the oblations and the sacrifices which they have to cook and do, this work alone shall be done on the Sabbath days in the sanctuary of Ahayah, your Alahayim. That's what the priests would be doing. They're the only ones that are allowed to burn the frankincense on the Sabbath and do the cooking that pertains to oblations and sacrifices on the Sabbath. And it's with purpose. They're doing the work of Alahayim because they're doing that work for our salvation. That's why it was being done, and it was not a transgression on their part. Well, from reading Jubilees, we can understand why they were blameless in what they were doing. Can you read Matthew chapter 12, verse 5, please?
Or have you not read in the law how that on the Sabbath days the priests in the temple profane the Sabbath and are blameless?
That lets you know Yache knew that Jubilees was a part of the law, because the regular book of Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, and Numbers, the books that Moses wrote, doesn't speak of how the priests profane the Sabbath and are blameless. But Jubilees does. That lets us know that Jubilees is a true record, and it was known by the people. There was something else there. I'll make sure to catch that. The priest cannot burn the frankincense anywhere else except in the sanctuary, because it will be a trespass of lighting a fire, and unlawful because they didn't do it in the sanctuary as commanded. Can you read Exodus chapter 35, verse 3, please?
You shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day.
So that law is for everyone. It's only in the sanctuary that that wasn't a trespass when the priest did it. If people want to burn incense or frankincense at home, they must light it before the Sabbath and leave it until it goes out. They cannot keep relighting it on the Sabbath, or else it would be a transgression.
Right. Or if you have a
Can-
furnace, like if you have one of the older furnaces that you have to burn wood or something like that, you can start that furnace and you can keep adding the wood that you have prepared on the sixth day. You can't go out into the field and get new wood and go chop down some trees, but if you have your wood prepared on the sixth day, you can continue putting the wood in the furnace to keep the fire going. And the same
Right,
for any fire. If you start the fire on the sixth day, you can keep adding wood that you got prepared to keep the fire going. So
right. Thank you.
that's a higher.
Jubilees 50 and 12, please.
And any man who does any work thereon.
That's the definition of work. H 4639. It means an action, good or bad. Generally, a transaction, as we talked about earlier about is doing business, the burdens pertaining to business, tribute. Also, abstractly, activity. By implication, a product, specifically a poem or generally property. So we can't go do transaction pertaining to our property, like going to go pay bills. Also, we can't go make products, like I'm gonna go work on my garden so I can go get it prepared so I can sell during the week. Now, I can write a poem similar to David writing the Psalms and Solomon writing his Psalms and Proverbs, for
Right.
example. That, right? Also, definitions are art, baked meat, which we touched on, cooking, business, deed, labor, thing made, ware of making, occupation, things offered, operation. So that I think that helps understand one definition of work. We have the other definition of work, H 4399, which is properly deputyship, and that is ministry. This is go work on someone else's behalf. And also it means generally employment. That lets us know the work he's referring to is work that pertain to the labor of the children of men, as he said in Jubilees. All right. Adding to what Zachwell had mentioned, if you have a water heater or electric water heater, it's lawful to, it's no sin. If you have a central heater, it's lawful to leave it on to keep the house warm on the Sabbath, because Ahayah preserves his people. And if you have a furnace heater room, remember to gather your wood and coals before the Sabbath and have them in your dwellings to keep the furnace burning on the Sabbath to keep the family warm. In cold weather, do not turn off the essential elements to keep the pipes from freezing as well. You want to make sure you maintain the home. For those, we are speaking to people all over the world. Some people live in places where it gets so cold. If you turn that heater off, you'll destroy it,
Right.
right? Continuing in Jubilee chapter 50, verse 12, please.
Or goes on a journey or tills his farm.
No do if you have a central heater, it's lawful to leave it on to keep the house warm on the Sabbath. And if you have a furnace heater room, remember to gather your wood and coals before the Sabbath and have them in your dwellings to keep the furnace burning on the Sabbath to keep the family warm. In cold weather, do not turn off the essential elements to keep the pipes from freezing as well. You want to make sure you maintain the home. For those, we are speaking to people all over the world. Some people live in places where it gets so cold. If you turn that heater off, you'll destroy it,
Right.
right? Continuing in Jubilee chapter 50, verse 12, please.
Or goes on a journey or tills his farm.
No doing work at home for personal or business, because tilling a farm is something that can be done for you personally, not merely a business venture, similar to watering your garden. There is no doing laundry and cleaning up the house on the Sabbath as well. Continue, please, in Jubilees 50 and 12.
Whether in his house or any place. And whoever
All right.
lights a
So
fire or rides on any beast or travels by ship on the sea.
we can't go on an extensive journey anywhere on the Sabbath. And it doesn't matter if the work is in a house or in another place. We can't do work. We touched on don't light a fire already from the law. And we have to have mercy upon our beasts. We can't ride them either because they have to rest.
Right.
And we can't travel by ship in the sea. concerning traveling, getting in our car is not a transgression. If say we live near some nice scenery that we like to go sit and enjoy the view by on the Sabbath, it's not a transgression to take a ride over there and go hang out for a while. The transgression would be is we go stop at the gas station to buy gas. We
Right.
should have prepared before the Sabbath and filled up the gas tank if we knew we were planning to go do such things. Also, it's not a transgression to go take a nice slow walk, as we're going to touch on in the scriptures as well. Not a walk for exercise, but a simple walk, just to enjoy the day. It's not a trespass. Nor is if you have a bike and you take your bike to go where you're going. It's not a transgression because we're not riding for exercise. We're just going where we're going. All right? Continue, please. Sorry about that.
It's okay. And whoever strikes or kills anything,
No killing any insects or anything on the Sabbath. Continue, please.
or slaughters a beast or a bird, or whoever catches an animal or a bird or a fish.
Notice it did not mention you can't catch insects. So it is lawful to catch them and get them out of the house, but we just can't kill them. All right? Continue, please.
Or whosoever fasts or makes war on the Sabbath.
It's not lawful to start a fast on the Sabbath. One can fast throughout the Sabbath, but initiating it on the Sabbath day is unlawful. Continue, please. Jubilees 50 and 13.
And starting the war on the Sabbath day is unlawful. And
Absolutely. Thank you.
It took the Maccabees a little bit of time to go through the law on that one because they had to get it together and understand the law.
Because he didn't say you can't defend yourself on the Sabbath day.
Right.
He said whoever makes war, we don't initiate it, but we are allowed to defend ourselves,
Right.
as we've seen in Maccabees. Thank you, brother.
Praise Ahayah. This is Jubilees 50 and 13. This is continuation.
Yes, sir.
All right. The male who does any of these things on the Sabbath shall die, so that the children of Israel shall observe the Sabbath according to the commandments regarding the Sabbath of the land, as it is written on the tablets, which he gave into my hands, that I should write out for thee the laws of the seasons, and the seasons according to the division of their days. Herewith is completed the account of the division of days.
So the things we just went over is understanding that was written in the tablets. So these are part of the commandments. All right, let's get more edification on some of these laws. Can we go back to Jubilees chapter 50, verse 8, please? We're going into a portion of it.
Whoever says he would do something on it, that he will set out on a journey thereon in regards to any buying or selling.
All right, so we cannot set out on a journey in regards to buying or selling, but it is lawful to take walks on the Sabbath like Yache and his disciples did on the Sabbath day. Can you read Matthew 12 and 1, please?
At that time, Yache went on the Sabbath day through the corn, and his disciples were hungered and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat.
We see they were walking, right? He also walked over to the synagogue, so it's lawful for us to get in our vehicles and go to church. We just have to be sure to buy fuel before the Sabbath, lest we profane it by making transactions. For those who have to catch the bus on the Sabbath to get to church, pre-purchase your tickets, so that way you're just getting in the vehicle and going, right?
Or communicate and commute with somebody to church. If somebody will come pick
Right.
you up.
Hopefully there's a brother, sister in the area, right?
All
right. Continue, please.
And when he was
Matthew 12 and 9. Sorry.
sorry.
Say continue, Brian. Give you the verse.
And when he was departed thence, he went into their synagogue.
So you see, he left from there, went over to go to the synagogue, taking a walk. So we understand that the journey wasn't saying that you can't go anywhere. It was in regards to buying and selling. All right. It is lawful to do good on the Sabbath as well and heal people. So people in the medical field are in no trespass on the Sabbath days when they have to work because they help and preserve life. Also, if someone is sick or an animal is in danger, it is lawful to help them on the Sabbath day. Can you read Matthew 12, verse 10 to 12, please? Sorry.
And behold, there was a man which had his hand withered. And they asked him, saying, Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath days? That they might accuse him. And he said unto them, What man shall there be among you that shall have one sheep, and if it fall into a pit on the Sabbath day, he will not lay hold on it and lift it out? How much then is a man better than a sheep? Wherefore, it is lawful to do well on the Sabbath days.
Amen.
Amen.
It is also lawful to go sit and enjoy the Sabbath in a nice scenic areas like Yache did by walking over to the seaside to sit down and teach the people. Matthew chapter 13, verse 1 to 2, please.
The same day went Yache out of the house and sat by the seaside, and great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore.
What Yache did, it shows they went to a nice low spot to sit down. Also, you see, Yache went out the house and sat by the seaside, so we can go outside and go somewhere nice if we'd like to go sit down and enjoy. Also, it says that he went into the ship and sat. We see that he didn't go on a journey because it's unlawful to travel by sea on the ship.
Right.
So in everything he did, he remembered the law. All right. It is lawful to go by loved ones' homes on the Sabbath, just as Yache went into the house on the Sabbath day after leaving church. And the seaside. We can have company on the Sabbaths as well as whomever it is that hosted Yache at their home. Can you read Matthew chapter 13, verse 36, please?
And then Yache sent the multitude away, and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, Declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field.
The Sabbath has a deeper understanding than what meets the eye. It helps us to understand what we are preparing for by keeping it in these times. Can we read Barnabas chapter 15, verse 1 to 7, please?
Sure. Barnabas chapter 15, verse 1. Moreover, concerning the Sabbath likewise, it is written in the 10 words, in which he spake to Moses face to face on Mount Sinai, and ye shall hallow the Sabbath of Ahayah with pure hands and with a pure heart.
That's the first step to keeping the Sabbath law. All right, continue, please.
And in another place he saith, If my sons observe the Sabbath, then I will bestow my mercy upon them.
That's what we have to do to receive his mercy. Continue, please.
Of the Sabbath he speaketh in the beginning of the creation. And Alahayim made the works of his hands in 6 days, and he ended on the 7th day, and rested on it, and he hallowed it. Give heed, children, what this meaneth. He ended in 6 days. He meaneth this, that in 6,000 years Ahayah shall bring all things to an end. For the day with him signifieth 1,000 years. And this he himself bears me witness, saying, Behold, the day of Ahayah shall be as 1,000 years. Therefore, children, in 6 days, that is in 6,000 years, everything shall come to an end.
Amen. That's the great understanding of those 6 days.
And he rested on the 7th day. This he meaneth. When his son shall come, and shall abolish the time of the lawless one, and shall judge the unholy, and shall change the sun and the moon and the stars, then shall he truly rest on the 7th day.
That's what we're looking forward to. That's the Sabbath we're looking forward to.
Right.
Continue, please.
Yea, and furthermore he saith, Thou shalt hallow it with pure hands and with a pure heart. If therefore a man is able now to hallow the day which Alahayim hallowed, though he be pure in heart, we have gone utterly astray. But if after all then, and not till then, shall we truly rest and hallow it, when we shall ourselves be able to do so after being justified and receiving the promise, when iniquity is no more, and all things have been made new by Ahayah, we shall be able to hallow it then, because we ourselves shall have been hallowed first.
So we see we're practicing this righteousness, waiting for the promise to come.
Right.
Knowing that when Yache comes and fulfilled it, then we would be hallowed ourselves and cleansed through him. So that's why Paul teaches that there remains a rest for the people of Alahayim. There's still a Sabbath to be kept for us because we're practicing for the one to come. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 9 through 11, please.
There remaineth therefore a rest to the people of Alahayim.
That word rest in the Greek, G4520, the word rest there in the Greek is sabbatismos. It means a keeping Sabbath. The other definition is the blessed rest from toils and troubles looked for in the age to come by the true worshippers of Alahayim and true Christians.
Amen.
So you can see that Paul was referencing, he was referencing what Barnabas was talking about to understand how they all were on one accord. All right, continue Hebrews chapter 4, verse 10 and 11, please.
But he that is entered into his rest, he also hath ceased from his own works, as Alahayim did from his.
That's where we have to cease from our sins and go forward in the fruit. And let us labor. Continue, please.
Let us labor, therefore, to enter into that rest, lest any man fall after the same example of unbelief.
And therein, we went over how to keep the Sabbath because we have to labor to enter into the true Sabbath to come. All right. Hopefully that edification is good and we have an understanding of how to keep the Sabbath. Brother Zachary, you got anything else?
I think that was good. I think we're good.
Praise Yache.
All right.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. Hope Ahayah be with you all.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom.